we see Jesus. And we see that God is trying to tell us something about who He is. That God is not just Greek things, all of the omnis, the omnipotence and the omnipresence and the omniscience. God never worked very hard to be anything that a Greek could describe with an omni. God wanted to come and let Himself be described by the way He got into the world. The way He came and walked in the cool of the evening with Adam and Eve. The way He sent even Cain into the world with protection. God wanted to be the one who came and was engaged with His creation. He never wanted to live in unapproachable light like some Greek demiurge. He didn't have that in Him. God wanted to describe what He was like. And before the cross, as near as God can get to telling us what He's like, is when Jesus takes the bowl and the towel. There is something marvelous about Jesus getting up, looking around the room, and getting up and saying, well, I guess the servant here is me. You see, this shouldn't be the text. If you'll excuse me, this shouldn't be the way the text reads. The text shouldn't read, well, it could read that Jesus was there and He knows that He's finished and He knows He's come from God, He's returning to God, and all things have been, that could have been, that's fine. But then, really, think about it. The text should have said, the disciples noticed that no one had washed Jesus' feet. And Peter ran for the bowl, but he was tackled by Bartholomew. And then John went over the top, and Andrew snuck around the side, and Thaddeus was there. And the biggest fight broke out among all of these apostles. And they were saying, no, I'll wash his feet. No, I'll wash his feet. And Jesus stood and said, boys, you can each take a toe. And then we'll kind of work the rest of it out. But there was no fighting for the privilege of washing the feet of Jesus, was there? I wish there'd been. I wish there'd been. I would like to believe that in this group there would be such a clamor to wash His feet. But I guess that's a thing we'll have to settle in our own hearts. Jesus looked around, and the only servant in the room was He. They were fresh out of servants in that room. These men had walked with Jesus through all of those things that John has described. And they'd come all the way to where Jesus says, this is the end, and God has sent me, and I'm returning to the Father. And on the night that He is going to be betrayed, the night that He is going to spend at midnight in Caiaphas' house, at this point, all of His teaching has not created a servant in His inner circle. And so He gets up. He takes off his outer garment, he wraps that towel around him, and he gets the basin, and he starts moving around the room. And I won't go into all the reasons that you need to have your feet washed when you walk on streets in cities without sewer systems. Let's just say that you just go read it. Their feet were awful. O-F-F-A-L. Just awful. And when you're lying down and your feet are in somebody else's